Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode. We're going to be doing a Drinks with Johnny Discovery Hour, where I'm going to be bringing on 3 new artists that I just discovered recently and wanted to have on together, and maybe hopefully you guys find something out of them that you like. You go follow them. You know, I've talked about on this show that the goal is to one day be able to give back to some entertainers in the industry coming up, and now seems like a good time with these 3 acts that I got coming on here. One of them, which Vended, we're going to be playing a show with in March 16th in Lincoln, Nebraska, if you're around for that. And as I was chatting to 3 different artists, I found a kinship in 2 of them. And this first one going to be Profiler, Vended. They're going to be on tour together in Europe coming up. And then of course there's right in the middle, we got Belushi Speed Ball, a really fun band out of Louisville, Kentucky. These 3 bands are up and coming. I really was excited to introduce you guys to them, because when I heard them, that like these were 3 artists that just kind of stood out to me. Shout out to Austin Griswold, their publicist, that sent me over a handful of new artists that he thought would be great for this Discovery Hour. And I picked out the ones that just stood out to me. So here's 3 of those. And without further ado, let's start the Drinks with Johnny Discovery Hour. Well, all right. So right now I am joined by the first of our artists on the Drinks with Johnny Discovery Hour, from a band, Profiler, that I just learned about a week ago, with their new record coming out, Digital Nowhere, February 16th. Today I am joined by the singer and guitarist of the band, Mike Evans. How are you doing today, man?
I'm very good, thank you, mate. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Where are you at in the world right now? I'm in England, down south, which is rainy and very cold, but I'm in a nice warm house, so all good. Yeah, it's like a rare rainy day here in Huntington Beach, California, too. It's like, so worked out great. I was going to be inside having a chat with you.
Nice, sounds good. Yeah, you're lucky you got the vitamin D over there. We got no vitamin D for like 6 months of the year, so
yeah, a lot of sales on the supplements there, I'm sure. Then
that's it. That's the one.
I spent some time in England. It's a great little country, man. Well, it's a big country. It's a nice country, man.
Yeah, it's good. It's got a certain charm to it. There's just the weather's not so good, but other than that, it's pretty cool. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I just discovered you guys about a week ago through Austin Griswold, you guys' publicist, who sent me the new record, A Digital Nowhere, and instantly I was listening to it while I was on one of my jogs, and I was like, this is fucking different. This is cool. This is really great music. So I started looking up you guys a little bit and saw that you had a couple releases before, but like this is going to be a pretty big year for you guys, is what it looks like, and especially with this catalog of music that you're coming out with. I got to say, congrats, man, on creating this, because like I said, I've gotten to hear it. A lot of people have heard a couple of the singles, All In being one of them, All In One rather. The first the first track on the album, and that was one that like immediately got me. I mean, it's not every day you hear a rock album start off with a bass line like that, right? You're going straight into this bass line, and it was a really great one too. And then the music starts kicking in, and I'm getting vibes of like old Deftones and stuff like that. So my first question, I guess, would be, you know, how did you guys form? What was the goal in mind? And what are some of your influences for the people who maybe haven't heard of you before?
For sure. Well, first, thanks very much for the props on the album, because obviously coming from you, that's massive. You're in a super successful band, so I really appreciate that.
Of course.
But yeah, we're pretty stoked on the record. Like the singles we were doing prior, I guess, were like a build-up. Like we weren't really signed at that point when we were writing those singles, and basically, I'll kind of start from the beginning. Like I was writing some of the tracks like Identify and Revert by myself before meeting the band, because I've always had kind of a love for the 90s, 2000 sound, new metal, but like grunge and just that kind of era of music. And I felt it was kind of lacking in modern music, but it still stands up so big today. So I was like, it makes sense to try and do this, you know? Some of my favorite bands are, as you say, Deftones, Incubus, Linkin Park. And I was like, no one's doing this sound right now. And it's so like refreshing, and it's still so exciting and new 20 years on. So yeah, just kind of wanted to go down that angle. Met my bass player, who lived in the same building as me when I was a student. He lived in a couple of floors above in these student halls. So we got together because he's a kind of standout bass player. Had like a 6-string Ibanez. I didn't even know that was a thing. And he just kind of stuck out. And then he introduced us to our original drummer, started jamming. And yeah, for a bit, I was personally recording songs with a producer in-house. So I was doing programmed drums, guitars and layers and vocals with him, and then getting my bass player to come in and lay stuff over the top. So yeah, after we kind of did that and built a kind of sound for ourselves, we started getting interest. We got interest from Nathan, who then moved over to Sharptone, and then introduced us to Sean from Sharptone, and then we signed. So it was all pretty quick. It's probably like a sort of year and a half into writing music that it kind of all started. So we've been very fortunate. It was super quick. We know we're very lucky, but I think we were just kind of in the right place and making the right kind of sound at the right time to get that interest. And then here we are. We had a little hiatus during COVID. Obviously, COVID kind of gave everybody, I'm sure you're aware, like 2 years of nothing. So we were just getting going, and then COVID hit. We signed, and it was like, okay, like we can't tour, we can't get out there.
Right.
So I just sat in my flat in Bristol, isolated, and just wrote the album that's now coming out. So I wrote about 20 tracks over the course of that year. And that's what's turned into the album, and kind of now it feels like it's starting for us, which is great.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad that, when COVID happened and everything was shut down for a while, as you mentioned there, I kind of expected more bands like yourself to, hunker down and write records like this, something different. And I was a little shocked to see at least the stuff on the mainstream wasn't really pushing the envelope too much. Nothing against these groups or artists or anything like that, but I wasn't hearing anything that was refreshing. And until last week when I heard you guys, I was like, oh, this is very refreshing, something different. I'm glad you mentioned the throwback to the late 90s, early 2000s, new metal, and a little flavor of grunge. And then you mentioned Linkin Park in there too, which I did hear a bit of that influence in the other single that's out right now, Nemo, right?
Yeah. People reference Linkin Park and Incubus a lot as well.
Right. Incubus too. Yeah.
To that track. We got a lot of those references. I don't think we're ever writing to try and sound like another band, but there's just a lot of influence for sure. But hopefully, the further we go on, it starts to sound like us. We've got like a bit of flavor from different bands maybe, but we do want to define our sound to ourselves. But yeah, I get people that say it sounds like Deftones, because it does.
Yeah, and of course I'm not a stranger to those comparisons in our career as well. We've worn our influences on our sleeves throughout as well, and it's not a negative at all. These are the things that influence you and your muses, and absolutely as you develop more and more as a songwriter, and I'm sure you're already there. It is different. You guys have your own sound already. It will be known as the Profiler sound, I believe, in short order. So kudos to that. And you did mention that your bass player was a standout bassist, and you had the 6-string Ibanez living in living in the same building as you. Did you hear him playing in his room while you're walking by and go, wow, this guy's got some fucking talent, or what?
Well, it was weird. Like, we lived in the same building for over a year, and I never even met him. So I was looking for a bass player for quite a while. And I think he just got recommended, because we were at the same music university, BIM, in Bristol. I think someone was like, hey, like, this guy's a metal bass player, you should check him out. And so, yeah, I kind of just messaged him on Facebook, and I was like, do you want to meet up for a jam at some point? And he's like, where are you? And he's like, I'm up. Like, we found out where he was. He's like, I'm just upstairs. So I just went up, obviously, that day and just hung out. But yeah, it took a while for all of us to get in the groove, because obviously I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So it's kind of like trying to get people to play things how I wanted it to be played. But Joe has like kind of just a raw, like he's got a Dingwall bass, Dingwalls?
No, I'm not familiar with Dingwalls, no.
Dingwall's like a big fan fret multi-scale bass. It's massive, got really thick strings. And what most bass players do is use picks on those because they're so thick. But Joe's got this like amazing thumping,
is that one of those basses I've seen probably on Instagram, where like the crazy virtuosos, and it's like got like the fretboard's like this big and shit?
Yeah, it's massive.
Is that one? Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. I've never fucked with one.
Yeah, they're pretty gnarly. They sound pretty good for lower tunings. I don't think they're necessary for things like D or like C sharp or anything. But when you start going to
Right.
like A
Right.
or like drop F like we do, it's pretty good. Yeah, I just heard of him through the grapevine and checked him out, and then yeah, his style of playing just really stood out, and he's like every time we play live, people are just like your groove and his sound. Like he's such an asset to the band. He's got such a distinct bass style. It's sick.
Yeah, he absolutely does. It did stand out for me as a bass player too. I was listening. I was like, "Damn, this guy's really good."
Yeah.
And it is something that I imagine for you guys live. You're a 3-piece band, and you don't have a second guitar up there with you doing helping out with the rhythm. So I imagine the bass is picking up where that's leaving off now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think you can get guitars to sound really big if it's just one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's
Absolutely.
not just being able to do solos or anything like that, but it's just a lot of like big chords and octaves in the bass to try and harness that sound. But I think it works. It seems to be working for us, so yeah, it's
No,
pretty
yeah,
good.
absolutely working for you guys, man. I'm a fan, man. And for you specifically as a guitar player, and songwriter and singer, where did you start your musical journey?
Well, I started playing classical when I was like I started quite late. Like I didn't get into it that early. Like, I must have been like 15. Um, I wasn't. I was into music. I was into like heavy metal, but I never thought about playing.
Hmm.
So I started classical and just picked it up really quickly. It was just very like sort of natural. But then was learning scales and certain songs, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to mess around with this. So obviously went to electric, started to learn how to detune. I did get lessons and do theory, but I just
Okay.
started self teaching really early, like learning songs by Green Day and like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that, and just getting
Rad.
into heavier music. Um, and I was making riffs probably for like 5 years without writing, just like new metally type riffs and playing over Deftones and like yeah, just figuring stuff out by ear, like not on the internet, just like working stuff out and tunings and stuff like that. So basically, pretty much self-taught. And then started writing in my 20s before starting writing the stuff for Profiler. Um, so yeah, always had a love for writing, but didn't put them into songs until I had Logic, and I figured that out. So all a self-taught journey, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow. Incredible, man. That's rad. And real quick, what was your first CD or album? And maybe it was digital that you bought, but what was your first one that you purchased with your own money?
Significant Other by Limp Bizkit,
Nice. That's a good
which
record.
yeah, it's a sick record. It was like back in the days where like you could go into a CD shop and like put headphones on in a CD player
Oh
and
yeah.
like test the CD before you're buying it. And I was just like, I heard about Limp Bizkit because it had loads of swear words in it, and I like no, I wasn't supposed to buy it because it was like had the parental advisory thing. So I was like, oh, this is like
And how
dangerous.
old were you? How old were you when this record came out?
Ah man, like I'm pretty young. Like I must have been. I'm 30 now. That came out in 1999, so I can't do maths. Like young, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't.
yeah, yeah,
Can't
yeah.
figure that out. But pretty
Young
young,
teen.
young teen. Yeah, 100%.
Rad. And that's a great record to pick up for the first time, man. So you're listening to it because you hear about it, has the explicit. What was the first song, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy this.
Yeah, I think I'd heard Break Stuff like on the radio or something, so I think that was the
Mm,
first song I listened to, and just like I mean, the production on that album still is insane.
it is
So
well produced record.
yeah, it's insane because I think they were with like Interscope or something, which is
Mm,
just insane for a metal band.
right.
Um, but yeah, checked out that. I also like had my siblings about 10 years older than me, so I was listening to like 90s kid music when I was like 4 or 5.
Right.
So I was listening in the back of the car, my brother and sister, to like Linkin Park and Incubus. So and System of a Down first album was one of the first albums I got.
Sick.
Um, Hybrid Theory, Meteora, Metallica, obviously as well. I think like For Whom the Bell Tolls was like one of my brother's favorite songs. So that was like some of the first metal injection I got, and I was like, all right. So yeah, I've got them to thank, I guess, for my love of metal
Yeah, the older siblings, man, they're always there for it. And
for
did
sure.
they take you out to your first concert, or what was your first show that you ever went to?
Um, no, I went with my mates. The first show I ever went to was Enter Shikari. I didn't go to gigs until a fair bit later. I might have been to like stuff like the Rolling Stones, I think, with my parents, like when I was a bit younger. First gig I went to with like a proper like sort of metal gig was Enter Shikari. Who else? Who else did I see when I was younger? Parkway Drive. I saw a little bit.
Okay, yeah, great band.
Around the same sort of time. Yeah, they're amazing. I've seen them like 5 times, and then getting into stuff like North Lane, sort of progressed like that. But then I was going to festivals and things quite a bit more, like Reading Festival, Leeds, so seeing like a wide spread of bands. But I went to a lot of gigs, but I wouldn't say I'm like an avid like gig goer, like once a week or something at any point. Like I always like kind of not like a recluse, but I'd always like be doing music in my room and stuff. Like,
well, as an artist will be, you know, that's where that's where you feel your calling is in the room by yourself creating music. Obviously,
for sure. And is that the same for you? Were you always like writing music?
No, I'm the bass player. I just come in later and do my thing. No. Honestly, when we're hunkering down and writing, you know, always, you know, you always feel the muse from different times and for different genres and different styles and everything like that. So, you know, I'm here in my writing studio at my house right now. And, you know, I'm looking at the walls with all my basses and guitars on them. And yeah, you walk into the room and you pick something up and you feel inspired to, you know, lay something down. Most of it never sees the light of day, but you get in there and you do it anyway. But yeah, when it and that's just like on the regular day to day muses and stuff like that. But when you're going to, you know, it's time to create new music with a ideology in mind for the band, then it becomes more of hunkering down in the room, like spending hours and time on perfecting a piece of music. And most of the time at the end of it, I don't know if it is for you, but most of the time at the end of it, then you have to take yourself away from it for a couple hours and come back and listen and see if any of it was actually good. Because if you listen to it in the time, you might think it's something good, and you're like, you go back, you're like, what the fuck was I thinking there? Like, that's not
100%. 100%. Yeah, you can think you've been a genius, and then you go back to the next day, you're like, it's pretty shit.
That one's gonna that's a throwaway. We'll start anew today.
That's it. Cool.
So yeah, on the music side, we talked about the writing, the music that's coming out for Profiler. Let's get into the live show. What's your guys' live show? You mentioned a little bit about it with you know, being a 3-piece and those challenges there, but you know, not a big deal. Plenty of 3-piece bands out there, and you guys are doing it great. So talk to me a little bit about your live show and what goes into it. What kind of preparations you guys may have, and what your goals are every time you step out there on the stage.
Yeah, so it's definitely gone through some changes. Like we've got a new drummer, which we brought in after we recorded the album. We had an old drummer, but he left for various reasons. Just kind of wasn't too committed. So there's been a change in lineup to a different drummer, and we've now obviously switched over to in-ear monitors, to wireless on guitar. So everything's linked up. We've got backing tracks running through Logic with a click, running for a straight half an hour set. That obviously is changing tempo to the different songs with some kind of interludes in between some of the tracks. And we've actually switched up some of the stuff live because I was feeling a little bit restricted behind the guitar on the microphone in a live setting. And like, obviously my dream, like checking out like Nirvana and Silverchair and other 3-pieces, like I was like, I just want to be doing guitar with vocals. But we found like in a metal setting, a slightly heavier setting, like having a frontman vibe is actually really advantageous to be able to like chat to the crowd, tell people to like march and get up and chat about things in between songs. So now the bass player Joe has picked up the guitar for some of the songs. So I'm playing about half the set on guitar and vocals, and he's playing guitar on half the set. And when he's playing guitar, we put the bass in the tracks, which was a big decision, because obviously it feels really authentic to have just those instruments playing in sync, like the bass and the guitar. But we really felt like, not like the energy was lacking, but like, you know, changing patches on the pedal board, tuning trying to talk to people in this half an hour set, it's just like a lot for me to like deal with and not be able to interact with the crowd. And that felt like it was a bit of a shame, because I wanted to like be like, you know, get the fuck up or whatever, and not being able to do that because there's so much to concentrate on. Kurt Cobain actually talks about it, like when he was in Nirvana, he's like, I hate playing guitar like and singing, like I'd much rather just sing. So I relate to that a lot. But we're playing on Monday in London. It's the first time I've ever frontmanned, so we'll see how it goes. It's kind of like a test run. But I think
so you won't have a guitar. You won't have a guitar at all on that, or just for part of the set, like you said.
Yeah, just part of the set. Yeah.
Okay, so gotcha.
I come in, I've got guitar. Don't play guitar for 3 songs. Do play guitar for 2 songs, and then don't play guitar for another song. Which was a hard decision, because I've got a lot of people around us being like, oh, you know, but that's what makes the band its thing, with me playing guitar and singing. But there's just something about being able to be expressive as a front man as well. You know, like Chino from Deftones and Brandon Boyd from Incubus. So I kind of like, if we can, delegate those responsibilities between the 3 of us, and we're going to try that dynamic out and see how it works. I'll still be playing guitar. I love it to bits. It's just that kind of energy feedback from the crowd would be interesting to try out.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I had no idea. That's really interesting, though. I mean, in that, do you consider, if it does work out, do you maybe consider bringing in a guitarist, and then you just becoming a 4-piece at that point?
Yeah, I thought about it, because a lot of the new metal acts, like Rage, Limp Bizkit, it kind of is that dynamic bass player, guitarist, drummer, frontman. It allows you to do more, like, I'm not saying I'm going to rap or anything, but like, if you've got a complicated guitar line, I'm writing to cater for singing over the top, if that makes sense. And if I'm
getting the, you know, it's always, you know, there's artists out there that are amazing at it. I mean, James Hetfield is incredible at being able to play the rhythms, and I mean, you have to have a special mind for that, I think, to be able to play a completely different rhythm down here. You know, you're almost like an octopus. Every limb has to be doing something different, which, you know, for drummers, people who are drummers, they have no problem with it. But, you know, for guys like you and I, there are times, you know, even when I'm doing backups, or, you know, Matt will ask, you know, hey, who can take, you know, when we're delegating for live performances, like you're saying, like, oh, who can take these parts and stuff. And a lot of times you have to figure out how to do it rhythmically. Like, you're trying one thing and maybe you're talking or screaming over something that's completely a different rhythm. So it's like rubbing your belly and patting your head a lot of times out there. Right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for the stuff we've written, I can do the whole set. It's just I want to be able to write some stuff that I don't have to like think about playing, because then it means I can kind of be a bit more expressive in writing style with like time signatures and chords. Because then I'm like, I don't have to think about playing that. I can just sing over it, and it just gives me more as an artist to play around with.
Yeah, more freedom and creativity there, absolutely. And you mentioned you guys doing you have interludes in the half-hour set that you guys are doing, and you said that you're moving, you know, these parts around so that you can interact with the crowd a little bit more as well. When you have these interludes playing, are you interacting with the crowd in between the songs there then? And again, like another way when you talk about effects changing and stuff like that, you know, you could run stuff these days with a fractal unit and if you're running something like Logic or Pro Tools, they'll actually do the switches for you.
Yeah.
Have you looked into that? And I don't know, like, have you thought about that, I guess?
Yeah, that's what we've just started. I didn't mention that bit. We've got everything now MIDI switching with Logic. We're also well on Kemper, and now we switched the bass and guitars over to Cortex. So lightly switched up our tones. We just got everything running on the quad, which is like in the rack unit, and we've got our monitor system on our app on our phones. So we're just like we've got our own volumes in our in-ears.
Oh, so shit! You guys are doing your own mixes on your phones?
Yeah.
That's cool. We still have a monitor guy, but like it's amazing. Even in, you know, we took almost 6 years off of touring, and when we came back, there's so much more tools out there to use.
Well, it's weird for me to get used to be honest, man, because like, I'm used to like listening to the wedge and like not having an ears and having a lead. But it's just it's not like I sound like a dad, like I'm trying to keep up with the kids, but like that's what everyone's doing. So we're like, okay, so it's definitely foreign, and it's weird because you've got this mix in your ear. You can't hear what's coming out front, so you're like, does this sound good? Like it sounds good in your ears, but you can't hear what the crowd's hearing, and it's throwing me off a bit. But I think once you get used to it, you kind of just plug in and play.
Absolutely.
In terms of interaction with the crowd, I mean, I'm confident, but as I said, I've never frontmanned like ever. I've always had my guitar on me, so this is the first time I think I'll be on stage with just a mic. So I will interact with the crowd. I think I've got that. But as you know, practice makes perfect. We've never really toured, done a little 5-day run in the UK. But I think when we go on this tour in April and May, then we'll get into that rhythm. And I think it's practice, isn't it? You learn how to work the crowd and what to say at the right time. But we haven't gigged that much as a band. You know, it's more been about releases, and then COVID happened and we were kind of on the backlog of tours. We didn't get any shows through COVID, and for about 2 years afterwards. This is the first like tour we're doing ever.
And where's that tour going through? Let's prop up that tour real quick while you're talking about it.
Yes, it's massive. All the way through Europe. It's about 33 days. Germany, Sweden, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, France, Italy, UK. It's pretty big. It's exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool. And being from England, have you been to a lot of these countries? I imagine just visiting, and this will probably be your first time playing in a lot of these places. Yeah,
sure. We've never played out of the UK yet. So we've only done little tours in the UK. I've been to places all over Europe, obviously, because it's quite close. You get quite cheap flights. So I've been to Spain and Italy and France, all those places. But this will obviously be a whole different animal. I think we'll just sort of play a show, play a show. So we might get a bit of time in the cities, but I'm extremely grateful for the label supporting us and for the band taking us and to do it, because it's
taking you guys out.
So it's Vended.
Oh, Vended.
Vended, yeah.
Oh, that is hilarious. I just got done with Griffin Taylor from Vended. He's going to be on this episode as the third act of this Discovery with Johnny. So, yes. Oh, you guys are going out together. That is fucking fantastic. Full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, say hi and thanks to him from me for the tour, because we're psyched. So it's
Vended's going to be out with us in the States for one show in Nebraska coming up in March. So right before I'll mention you guys and tell you to say hi and everything like that. But that's cool, man. I didn't realize you guys were going on tour together in Europe. That's really cool.
Yeah. So it's Vended and Gloom in the Corner as well, which is an Aussie metalcore band who are sick. So yeah, we're very excited. I've never toured, so I don't know what to expect. I know it can be quite hard work, like lack of sleep and things like that. But I think playing shows to people in different countries is kind of why we got into it. So I'm pretty psyched. It's gonna be cool.
Dude, I can't wait for that tour for you guys. I'll be catching it probably via the internet probably for a while, but then hopefully we'll be out there in the summer. And if you guys are still around, love to say hi in person, man. Much success to you. Much wishes to you guys on this new record coming out February 16th. Everyone can go check it out. Everyone go follow Profiler on all socials and wherever you listen to your music, wherever you stream it. I know that everyone follows that now, right? YouTube, everything. Easy enough to find. Go find Profiler and catch them out in Europe coming up in April with Vended, who you guys are going to hear from in a little bit here. So, again, man, thanks, Mike Evans, for being on the show, man. Looking forward to following your guys' career moving forward, and hopefully we see you down the road here soon.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate the kind words. And, really nice to meet you, mate. Thank you.
Nice to meet you too, man. We'll be in touch. Till next time. Cheers. Well, all right, everyone. Right now, I am sitting with the lead singer of the band Belushi Speed Ball, a band that I just discovered a couple days ago. Vinny, how the hell are you doing today, man?
Dude, I'm doing really good. Super excited. I'm super excited to be on the podcast.
Dude, it's an honor to have you, man. Honestly, like a real quick backstory. Austin Griswold, publicist, sent me a group of bands this last couple weeks, and I was like, oh well, I don't really know any of these bands. Haven't heard much of them, and to be honest, and so I just like, well, let's give them a listen. And one of the bands that he sent that stuck out to me was Belushi Speed Ball. Immediately I'm listening, and it's got like this hardcore punk / thrash vibe going on, which is very different. A kind of a raw recording process is what I'm hearing going on. We'll go into that real quick. And then, of course, I look at your guys' Instagram and I see some of the shows. Looks like you guys are having fun. And as I'm listening to these songs, I realize you are having even more fun. I'm listening to the lyrics now and I'm going, holy shit, this is hilarious. So I'm so excited for you to be on here, and hopefully some people will check you guys out after this. But man, tell me a little bit about the band. Like when you guys formed, you guys got 3 albums out now. Is that correct?
Yeah, a whole bunch of EPs, but yeah.
A whole bunch of EPs. Okay, rad though. I mean, yeah, that's cool. And everyone could get those on Spotify and Apple, so go follow them there. But I got to ask, just as, just discovering you guys, like a lot of people are here on the, listening and watching right now. Tell me about yourself. Tell me a little bit about how you guys formed and what your original goals were when you formed this band, and have they changed over time? Are you still, is still the same goals in mind with the Belushi Speed Ball?
Man, yeah. So I teach high school, actually, is one of the things that I do. Yeah, and I've been in band since I was 13, since I was a kid. And whenever I graduate college, I guess I was 23, I decided I was going to go ahead and start this band. Originally, it was a studio project. And it was about 10 years ago, and so started with just one song. And then I was like, I'm going to do an EP. I'll knock out an EP. And the original EP is so rough. I did myself, and it's I think people can find it somewhere. It exists for historical purposes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you say, real quick, when you say you did it all yourself, you played every instrument and sang on it?
No, I recorded it all myself. Sorry.
Oh, you recorded it all yourself. Okay. I just wanted to make sure with the rest of your bandmates, right?
Well, no. So it started, Belushi is, we always have a rotating lineup, and I'm a huge Joel Grind fan, Toxic Holocaust, and he actually mastered the last 3 albums that you're talking about. But the way he does things is he goes in the studio and he did everything pretty much himself, and he would anything he couldn't do, I guess he would hire a drummer. Although I think he's back to doing drums now himself also. And then when he'd go to play out live, he'd hire musicians with him, and so my original thing, I was like, when I read about that, I was like, I didn't know that was an option, that you could just be a band. And so on the first recordings, I did guitar, bass, and then I had my buddy Chase Bensing, and he's actually who records us now. He did all the lead guitar work, and then I got my buddy Alex to do drums because I can't play drums. Okay. And so we got the EP done, and this is 10 years ago, right? And then we're like, well, let's play a show. And so we did our first show, and we didn't have any thought of doing many after that. And I'm a huge ICP, Guar, fan. I love live theatrics. So my buddy Bo Kalen, he's a film director and a character actor, and so I asked him to be like our sleazy P. Martini. He does this character named Senor Diablo, and the whole idea was that he'd be our manager. And the joke is we're playing this small bar, right? And right. He finally got us the big time, and then the show goes haywire while he's there, and we did this live theatrical, crossover thrash show, and people liked it. And then, we did another one, and people really responded well the second time. And then we started doing this thing where we'd throw trash out the whole time and silly string, and the whole show is going to chaos, right? He had this good plan, and then it all just, breaks loose, and people really respond well to that. And it snowballed into what it is now. And, kept releasing music, kept making more music, kept getting better. And, that's that. That's pretty much the history of Belushi. Started a studio project, and then it snowballed into where we're at now. And we have a core lineup, I guess you could say. Again, it rotates, but this last album, my good friend Jameson Land, he joined the band. He was Beefcake the Mighty in Guar for 10 years.
Oh, so shit.
It's crazy. It came full circle. He joined, I guess 2 years ago in May. He played a show with us.
And he was in Guar for 10 years as Beefcake. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he was,
how did you, where are you from? How did you, I'm sorry, say again?
Louisville, Kentucky. So
Okay.
he's from Louisville.
Yeah. Okay. That's
he,
amazing.
Yeah. Well, and he's a legend. He was in a band before called The Burial.
Okay.
And I saw him when I was a kid. And I was like, holy crap, this guy, because he's a guitar player by trade, and he played bass for Guar, but he's a lead guitarist.
Okay.
And I was blown away when I was a kid. And I always said I would get him to do a guest spot on something I was doing musically. And so that snowballed because I asked him to do a solo on a song. And then he goes, well, let's play it out live. And then he was like, I kind of like this, and with the way the band works, we teach high school, we have careers. And so we have a lot of shows booked, but basically, if someone can't play a show, we'll fill the spot, rotates the lineup. And that worked out really well for his schedule. Cause he's like, man, I can't go back to touring, 3 months a year or whatever doing with Guar. So yeah, so he's on the newest album that's going to be coming out, completely. He helped us, write and did a bunch of lead guitar work. So yeah. And I'll play if I don't have a guitarist, I can play guitar. I'll play guitar and do vocals. I've done bass a lot, live, and then front when I can. So,
dude, that's cool. That's something I didn't realize. And when is this new record that you did with him coming up?
May 10th. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm definitely going to check that out. I wanted to ask a little bit more about your guys' day jobs. You said you're all high school teachers. What subjects?
All of us. A couple of us are. Yeah. Okay. I teach. Senor Diablo is he works for the Board of Education, which people are mind blown when they find out about that. He's what's called a curriculum coach. He helps teachers teach teachers. And then Daniel Neal, our drummer, he does IT. Jameson drives semi truck, which is actually when he left Guar, that's what he pursued for a bit. He had his CDL and he was driving tour buses for a while, and then COVID hit. Yeah.
Oh,
and
shit.
then our current bass player Tony, he works for like a credit card company, and then Derek, our other guitarist, he works for a like a music venue out in Indiana. So
okay. And I'm sorry, I think you cut out a little bit when you said your subject that you teach in high school.
Oh yeah, I teach biology.
Biology. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I ask about your guys' day jobs because, as I said, it sounds like you guys are having fun with this. And I asked about your guys' goals. So you have day jobs and you're playing shows. You're still releasing music. Is this more of, just a really fun, awesome hobby that you hope goes farther, but like you're totally okay just doing it at this level? I mean, what are the aspirations for Belushi Speed Ball?
I mean, it's the dream, right? Keep chasing it. So we I got a booking agent last year, and he's really helped us. We're playing Milwaukee Metal Fest. We're playing Obscene Extreme in Europe. We've been kind of doing like weekend runs once a month, getting out of town. And we got a tour coming up in June. And so just pushing it as much as I can, and dedicating as much time as I can to it. And it'd be incredible to be able to support my family with my art.
Right.
And we're finally at a point we're doing pretty good with sales, with merch sales. And that's partially, because I mentioned that to you before, prior to hitting record, right? We have this obscure merch. Like we're the first band to release a metal album on Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64, and like they actually.
How did you do that? I don't even fully understand that. You mentioned it, as you said before I hit record, but what do you mean you released it on Nintendo and N64?
Yeah, Super Nintendo, and then I have it right here on Nintendo 64, and I put them all up here to show them off. I also got Game Boy. You put them in and they play our album. The Super Nintendo is a fully playable game. It's a.
That is wild, man. I've never heard of that, and I didn't know that. So it's what's on the screen though when it's playing? Nothing.
No, yeah. So the Nintendo 64 is just, it shows the album and you can skip songs and it plays the songs. It's not as exciting. The Game Boy Advance kind of looks like an old Winamp from like the 99 for like Windows XP.
Nice.
The Super Nintendo is a fully playable game. I homebrewed a game, and I don't want to say the name for legality reasons. Not that I don't know the radar yet, I might get a cease and desist eventually, but
Yeah.
it's fully playable. And what I did was,
Well, you will after this podcast because now it's on the radar.
I know. Oh, Johnny, I hope not. I hacked a video game is what I did, and that's what all are. They're hacked video games, and they I recoded and found ways to put our music into it, and that's what I was saying. Like I got the Teddy Ruxpin right here. I found a way to actually like take his tapes and isolate the synchros to where his mouth moves, so like he actually sings and talks to our music.
You got to show me. You got to show me. I got to see that. I didn't know that was possible. So you recorded onto one of those cassettes that goes into a Teddy Ruxpin?
Yeah. Well, I isolated the synchro tracks, and I got an old 4-channel cassette recorder, and I re-recorded over his audio, and I matched up. Here, I'll just show you. Hold on,
dude, that's amazing. As you're doing this though, explain to me where did you get this affinity for old technology and how to reprogram it?
Sorry, once I plug him in, he starts going.
Belushi Speed Ball merch. While you're doing that, go ahead and enjoy some Belushi Speed Ball music.
Oh my.
So yeah, where'd I get the man? When I was a kid, I always loved retro video games, and I had Teddy Ruxpin when I was a kid, and I wanted to see if I could do it. So I wanted to see if I could make my own video game, and I learned how to like resprite and do that. I'm at a very novice level, but then I learned how to stick my music in it, and so
dude,
it sets us apart. The point is that some of them are real expensive. Like the Super Nintendo's $140, but a lot of people will go to our Bandcamp just to see it, and it's like going to the showroom to see the Corvette, and then they'll leave a T-shirt or a CD or something, and then
yeah, because you have it set up at your booth when you guys are playing shows.
Yeah, it's fully playable TV. Yeah, people stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got I got the newest one right here. So our newest album is I got a single on a slice of pizza, and I sealed it in resin, and it plays.
What does it play on? Wait,
it plays on pizza.
This is the most absurd musical podcast I've done. What the fuck?
We got it in Detroit and New York style. Because our newest
Detroit
single
and New York style, huh?
Yeah.
That is
it's called my favorite color is pizza. So
okay. Yeah, dude. These are brilliant ways, by the way. I've never thought this is so outside the box for merch. I think that's really cool. You can tell it's coming from a retro place. I'm thrilled that you still are in like old technology. I'm wearing my Casio gold watch right now. Like I've got I've got an old Nintendo still working. My son plays on. Like I've got the old cocktail table up in my bar where it's got Pac-Man and 64 other games. Like I'm all about that shit.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, dude. My son likes a lot of the old stuff too, which is cool. And I just always had an appreciation for it. You know.
But who knew that it would come full circle, though? Like now you're able to use that with releasing merch and your music. It's a really brilliant idea. I mean, I have to say,
Thank you, man.
I might have to steal that. I mean
yeah.
But dude, you mentioned the new single. My favorite color is pizza. There, coming off the new record, coming out in May. So everyone go follow, so you know when that's coming out and everything.
February 23rd.
Is that and that's for the single? Okay, February 23rd for the single. Everyone just go follow Belushi on all socials and streaming platforms. But you mentioned the name of the song, and as I'm going through and listening to your guys' music, there's a Magic Conch. Like there's all these songs that I'm listening to that are just. They're absurd, right? I mean, the titles are absurd, and then you listen to the lyrics, and you're like, "Oh, these guys are having fun." What's your muse for when it comes to writing lyrics and songs like that?
Yeah, so when I hit writer's block, I watch an episode of SpongeBob and write down everything that happens. Well, man,
that's one of the most unique answers I've gotten on this show for that.
Yeah, real answer too. I always keep in mind what is this song going to feel like live. Because if you said you saw some of our stuff on Instagram, our live shows are in. like we have an industrial rave foam shooter, and we'll fill up venues full of foam, and like gallons of LaCroix gets thrown out. And so I always think, what's it gonna look like when the crowd's singing it back to me? So that's always kind of step one. I got to have a good chorus. I got to have a good, But yeah. If I hit writer's block, I watch an episode of SpongeBob. Come.
That's fantastic. And we mentioned again the live show and Beefcake joining the band for this new record and working with you guys. Obviously, Gwar, famous for their live shows and just blood, guts, everything, all of it. Which is one of the reasons I gravitated to Gwar as a young musician, just watching their absurdity and theatrics. And then the songs were fucking fun and great too. Great musicians as well, kind of like you guys. You guys are great musicians, obviously, having fun playing, using your influences, I'm guessing, in some of the thrash and punk world to have a fun spin on it with your lives the way they are now. And I bring that up to ask, like, when I first heard it, I didn't think Gwar until you mentioned it, but now that you did, totally hear Gwar in there. But I also hear a band called Death by Stereo that I used to tour with. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they're Southern California, similar style, thrash punk style, very fun band, very great band that we've done shows with back in the day. But yeah, like I said, all those things like came to me when I was listening, like especially like, as I mentioned, Death by Stereo, when I'm listening to it. And that's why it stood out to me. I was like, I want to talk to these guys. I emailed Austin. I was like, let's talk to these guys. I want to get to know them a little bit. I haven't been able to live with the catalog for a long time, so I don't know titles of songs. But I do want to ask, at the end of the first song on your guys' last record, there's like a little skit that you guys did there. And I'm listening to it, and it's talking about like a bread catalog or some shit. And I couldn't follow. I was like, is there an inside joke here? What's the scenario of that skit?
Oh God. So, that whole album, if you buy it physical, there's a skit on every song. Okay. And, so let me, not that I don't want to ramble too much. I'm sorry, Johnny.
No, it's a podcast. It's podcasts are for rambling.
Okay. So for context, as we were growing, we do live skits on our albums because I love MC Chris and I love Redman and Wu-Tang, and they always had skits. Like it comes from the rap world. So I was like, I'm going to put skits on our album. And they kept getting longer. Stella 1, Stella 2 has probably the best mix. That's the album before What Us Worry, of the length of skits and having one in every song. And this album, whenever we released it, people were like, dude, it's too much. So I re-released like immediately, at least for streaming, because I'm like, I guess it doesn't flow right on streaming. Skip-free. So almost all the songs are skip-free, except for what you're talking about, which is ripping off Municipal Waste. There's two versions, and the one version at the top of the Spotify has that skit, and so they're all inside jokes. Some of them will like lead into the next song. That one didn't, but the inside joke on it was during COVID. We found out that one of our friends had an OnlyFans, and we convinced my guitarist Kyle to subscribe to his OnlyFans. Because we wanted to see, and so, anyways.
What did you guys find? Wait. What did you guys find? What was he doing on OnlyFans, your buddy?
It's just, it was tasteful or whatever. So, but no,
it was tasteful. It was done. It was quality photography then.
Yeah. So no, I mean it is tasteful. It wasn't at all. It was just mostly just him. Shirtless. It wasn't anything that we. But the joke was the first album. Someone asked our buddy. He was like, "Hey, when someone subscribes, do you know who it is?" And he was like, "Yeah." He saw that Kyle, our guitarist.
He saw it, so he knew.
So that's what the inside joke is about. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I'm glad you cleared that up for me. Now, before we hit record, speaking of things that you like and a little bit more into your personal life, you did show we got into the Teddy Ruxpin, but you got an Ultimate Warrior wrestling buddy.
Slam buddy.
With the Eagle title from the 90s. I mean, are you a big wrestling fan?
I do like wrestling. I don't follow it as much as I did in the 90s. But I took my daughter, my 5-year-old, to AEW. We had a blast. It's so cool. Watch Orange Cassidy. So, and then as far as like WWE, I'll catch a lot of like clips here and there. It's hard because my kids dictate what's on TV now. I'm sure you're aware. You said you got a son, right?
Yeah,
so,
I got a son who's about to turn 7, but he's into wrestling, so me and him get to watch that together.
That's awesome. I got my daughter's arm. My son, he was for a brief second, and now he's like, So, but I'm trying to get my 5-year-old into it more. But I love Rhea Ripley, man. I want to marry her one day.
I think you're gonna have to watch out for Buddy White on that one, but yeah.
You asked me what the goal with the band is. That's the goal. I want to be famous enough that Rhea Ripley that she wants to marry me.
She leaves Buddy and marries you.
No, I got to turn it down. I'm married. I got to be like, I'm sorry.
I know. Oh, she pursues you. Okay, you've got that kind of fantasy. You want to be that kind of fantasy, right on. Okay, cool. So we're going to wrap this up real quick and play a song here, but I'm going to just a quick couple of questions there since we're talking on the subject of wrestling. You mentioned the 90s. I'm a huge wrestling fan, as all my listeners know. Had plenty of the wrestlers on the show here, guys at AEW and WWE. Love it both. So I want to know, what was your favorite moment in wrestling history, whether it be as a kid, rewatching, whatever it is, favorite match, favorite moment?
Dude, that's so hard to narrow down.
Right. One of your favorites.
Stone Cold running over Vince McMahon's car.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, but I'm a huge Stone Cold Rock Attitude Era fan. As far as
The Rock's back. The Rock's back.
I know. I saw that. I'm so stoked. So God bless him, man. He looks amazing too. So
he's the best. He's the male Beyonce, as my friend.
You're not wrong. You don't age.
Ron Funches said that when I said I'm going to steal that from now on. So, yeah.
Dude, watching McFoley as Dude Love wrestle Stone Cold for like an hour straight, Stone Cold was bleeding. He took, he razored it. I mean, that was insane. But that whole era. What about you? What's your favorite moment in wrestling history?
Oh, dude, that is tough. Man, I mean, for me, one for my childhood, it was kind of fun. Was WrestleMania 10? They did it in Vegas at the what was it? The Caesars Coliseum. It was outside. And the whole thing was rad. I mean, you had The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez, which was amazing. You had Shawn Michaels versus Rick Martel. You had a slew, and then the main event was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna.
Yeah.
Bret Hart loses, and out comes Hulk Hogan out of nowhere with a black eye for some reason. And he comes in. I mean, I don't know what the backstory was on that, but he comes in and in 30 seconds drops a leg on Yokozuna to win the title right after Yokozuna had just beat Hogan. And as a kid, I think I was 9 or 10 years old at the time, and I was floored. It was the first time I'd seen a swerve like that. So it was, I'll say that for now, but there's so many others I can say, obviously, too.
Right. That's awesome.
So again,
clips of that.
Yeah. Other moment in history. I assume the Belushi comes from Jim Belushi. Maybe not John, but maybe it is. Which Belushi brother is it? And what's your favorite moment from Jim Belushi?
So we always tell everyone that it's that's from Jim Belushi, and we always say that he loves. I gotta get this right. Because we get asked this all the time about where that name comes. I don't need to know where the name comes from. So I just need to know your favorite Belushi moment. Oh, sure. well, we always say that Jim loves Sonic Spin Ball so much, is what it is, and Knucklehead called it Speed Ball. So, from
what? Sorry, you broke up there again. From what?
It's from Sega Genesis. We always say that he loves Sonic Spin Ball. Dude, Animal House, man. God bless that movie. So when he falls off the ladder, when he's looking through the window, and Yeah, but no, smashing the acoustic guitar is classic. Yeah.
I like just the simple line of "food fight." That one, just like,
I'm a zit.
yeah, I'm a zit. So good, so good. All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you a little bit. We'll be following your career. Everyone, make sure they go follow Vinny and Belushi Speed Ball. I almost said Speedwagon. REO Speedwagon. Belushi Speed Ball. Now I've said it wrong enough times. You should be able to get it. Belushi Speed Ball. Go check out the band. I think you're really gonna love it. Go check out their shows too. As we said on Instagram, you can see those first and then go find their tickets because it looks like a good time. I mean, I want to go there and throw some trash around. Maybe like that. That looks like a good time.
Hell yeah, you need to come up. We call it gooning. You can come up on stage and throw trash out with us. We have people in the band that's their job.
Wasn't there a dumpster guy that was one of the guys on Saturday wrestling that just got beat up every week like a dumpster dude? I'll be that. I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy. But to end it all for everyone, again, just go follow Belushi Speed Ball. But let's leave them with the song. If you're watching on YouTube, you're gonna have to go check out the song or go to the podcast because legalities, they don't let me play it here on YouTube. So head over to your podcast or wherever you stream your music and listen to this song. What's one that you think kind of is out there right now and encapsulates what you guys do?
So Johnny, before I say that, can you do me a huge favor?
Yeah,
so my student Aid Gavin wears an Avenged Sevenfold shirt every day. So you're his favorite band. Can you just say hi to Gavin? Just say hi, Gavin.
What's up, Gavin? Stay in school.
Thank you. Yeah, he's graduating, so it would be a disservice.
Okay, well then, congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Good job finishing. Good job finishing school. How about that?
He'll be.
You did what I couldn't do and finished high school. Good on you.
God bless. So, as far as the track goes, I mean, ripping off municipal waste it's the one that you heard right away. It's a banger. Yeah. So, yeah. So go ahead.
All right, well, we're gonna play it here on the podcast. Everyone else, if you're on YouTube, go find the song or go listen to the podcast. Thank you again, Vinny, for being on the show. Belushi Speed Ball. Everyone go check him out. Thanks again for your time, man. Well, all right, everybody. Today I am joined by Griffin Taylor of the band Vended. This is actually round 2 of our chat there, Griffin. The other day we recorded a quick little chat for this Drinks with Johnny Discovery Hour. Easy enough for me to say. And we had a nice chat, and then I went back and looked at it, and my camera was off the whole time. And my first question is, Griffin, why the fuck didn't you tell me that my camera was off the whole time?
I didn't want to interrupt anything. I didn't know if it was that was just supposed to be happening. I didn't know if you recording just made it so that I couldn't see your camera.
Oh, no. I mean, it was definitely my bad. That's it's a rookie mistake. This kind of thing happens when you're running the podcast yourself or at least the recording of it that day. And, I've had a few mishaps over the years that I've been doing this now, but I've had a good track record until you came along, Griffin. So,
well, you know what? That's just the personality that I have. I have that effect on people, I guess.
Well, dude, it's so good. I'm glad now that we get to talk again. We get round 2 of this. Talking a little bit about Vended, and let's start off kind of where we did maybe last time. A little bit of a backstory here. You and I have had the pleasure of meeting a couple times on the road. You've been out with your father, Corey, when he's been out with Avenged Sevenfold, with Stone Sour, and numerous amounts of other festivals and stuff that you've grown up being around, these shows and stuff. And I mentioned that the first time I think I met you would have been in Omaha, Nebraska. Probably like 12 years ago. You didn't remember, but I wasn't expecting you to. You would have been all of like 10 years old. So
yeah, I like I said in the interview that we did, I was like, I took too many hits to the head, too many mic bonks to the face. I have the spatial awareness of a potato.
Yeah. But so let's get into that though. Like as you're growing up and around the scene, for lack of a better term, and backstage and stuff, and when did you know, being surrounded by your father and his contemporaries, that you wanted to venture into creating music yourself and creating this band Vended?
Well, when it came to kind of realizing that I wanted to do music, it was all kind of just like you were saying, it's just like the kind of spatial. It was kind of just the space that I was growing up in that made it so that it was kind of just like, you know what, this is kind of what I want to do, but it was also like I didn't know what I wanted to do when I got older, but when I knew that I wanted to do music, that day that I actually knew that this is what I wanted to do was the day that my guitarist Cole actually came up to me and asked me if I wanted to make a band with him and do the talent show at our middle school.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, and that was kind of like one of those like moments where I was just like, you know what, yeah, let's see where this goes. I've got nothing else going on in my life. Fuck it, let's do this. And then we started doing we started doing like band practices and doing covers of songs, and then we eventually got some members in that some of them didn't really fall through, and then eventually we got Simon in, and then JJ, and then Grodd. And then ever since then, we've just been doing our very best to kind of do shows and whatnot.
Awesome. And it all started from a middle school talent show. I love that. I did one of those. It's not the band I ended up with, but definitely did the same thing.
We did fucking Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
Sick.
And it was, Cole's dad has a recording of it, and I watched it, and every 5 seconds I was just like, no.
Tough watching yourself back sometimes, isn't it?
You are your own worst critic.
Yes, every time, man.
Uh,
Well, you did before. Someone celebrated a birthday, right? In your band, was it Cole or Simone?
it was Simon.
Simon, that's right. I almost said Simone because you called him Simone the other day. I know that's probably an inside joke. I'm not allowed to call him. I'll call him Simon now.
We have a lot of inside jokes when it comes to Simon. One of them is one that his fiance called him. I don't even think I should say this, but one that his fiance called him that I just overheard and then said to him, and he was just like, "How do you know that?" I called him salmon crab hand, and another one is Siminian, like the Minions. We just have a lot of inside jokes in our band.
Well, I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it's kind of what you need. You got a brotherhood there. It sounds like a bunch of friends that you've been doing this together, which is the right way to go about it.
I mean, an inside joke for me that everyone always gets on me is the Walmart bench in the fucking van, because I get I always get a bench to myself, and that's not by like, I want a bench to myself type of thing. It just always happens because we always choose the same seats. So I always choose the middle seat. And I'm a very cluttered and messy kind of person when I try not to be. And they just called it the Walmart bench because there's everything that you could find in a Walmart in the bench.
And which bench is that? Is that, you said is it the middle row of the van?
Yeah, the middle row of like the Sprinter van.
That's funny. Oh, because when we were traveling in an Econo van back in the day, the Rev Jimmy Sullivan was still with us, and he had the world. He had the very back bench, and similar, he was a very cluttered person. So and he wouldn't let too many people back there. But every once in a while, I'd get to sleep back there. So I know what you mean by that bench that's just consumed by one member of the band.
Yeah, and then I'm like there will be times where I'll be in the middle of something, or I'll be trying to listen to something, and then someone will try and talk to me, and then I'll get kind of annoyed, and I'll be like, "What?" And they'll be like, "Can I like lay down in the bench?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, sure, fuck it, whatever." And I'm like trying to go like get everything together so that then I could go back to what I was doing. But I always try to let my band members know, like, hey, if you need the bench, just let me know. If I like get annoyed, it's probably because like I'm in the middle of something, but I'll let you use the bench. I don't care. Like, you can sleep in the bench if you want to. I don't mind.
Dude, that actually brings up a good point I wanted to talk to you about, because this reminds you guys are in a van and it's bringing back some memories of early touring with Avenged. How are you finding that dynamic? Yeah, like you're just mentioning it right now. Like that's something that doesn't get talked a lot. I feel like is you could be best friends with these guys in the band, but living with them in a van for weeks on end. You really have to learn each other and, the pros and cons and the emotions, the daily, things that we all go through and how to approach it differently. Even if it's someone you've been friends with for so long prior to, it's a new way of getting to know someone, and figuring all that out. How are you finding that now that you guys have been touring for a little while now? You guys got held up for COVID. You'd already been going strong with Vended. You were ready to hit it hard. COVID took you back a couple beats, but now you guys are touring again. How has it been? How are you finding those idiosyncrasies between yourself and the bandmates? And there's always going to be those headbutts, obviously, when you're in that close quarters. But how are you guys seeming to manage it? Do you feel pretty strongly that everything's going in the right direction?
Everything seems to be going all right. We all get along as great as we can. Obviously, we're all very young, and we're all fucking balls of energy. So unintentionally we can get under each other's skin, and we all roast the shit out of each other 24/7. So it's like I'll just be lying down and I'll just be like trying to go to sleep, and then some like Grodd will wake me up, and I'll be like, what do you want? He'll go, "You fucking asshole." And I'm just like, all right, thanks, bud. I just wanted to go to bed. But no, I love each and every single one of them. Everybody's been, it's the same dynamic of if you were to live with your friends, like if you were to get a house with your friends, like it seems like a great idea at first, but then after a while, everybody kind of, gets on each other's nerves, or like someone didn't do the dishes, or someone is kind of like complaining about something. But I mean, right. All in all, you just have to realize that it's work. It's a work dynamic. And when in doubt, just try to make it great for everyone as possible. And we also try our very best to kind of do things as well. Like we go to a museum, or we have dinner together. I'll have a drink with some of my friends and whatnot. But yeah, it's all pretty great.
And real quick on that, you said you have a drink with a couple of your friends there as you guys are touring. What's your drink of choice?
Margarita.
Margarita. All right.
I'm a
tequila guy.
I'm a sweet tooth guy. I like
okay.
Because margaritas taste like lemonade to me. So I like so I'm a Jack and Coke margarita kind of guy. Not really and when I say Jack and Coke, I mean like that much Jack and then like that much Coke. I'm like just fucking like I'm like the one thing that my band, because obviously because of family history, I do in fact have an addictive personality, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But the one thing that my band and even like my family were a bit afraid of is that when I turned 21, they didn't want me to go off the deep end when it came to like alcohol or being able to purchase alcohol on my own. And I proved them wrong pretty early on when I turned 21, because I was sitting in my room one day and I had nothing to do. And I was just like, fuck it. I'm going to go to the gas station. I'm going to buy a $3 Cayman Jack margarita. I'm just going to sit in my room and play a video game. And so I went, got 2 Cayman Jacks, played a video game. I drank an entire one of one. And I was just like, oh, I'm feeling pretty buzzed right now. Maybe I'll crack the other one open and just kind of make this a cool night. And my body just went, sugar, I want soda. And I was just like, I guess we're having Pepsi.
That's a better addiction, I guess.
I'm a soda pop guy, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm 21 now.
I like it. And was that when you turned 21, did you wait all the way till you're 21 for your first drink?
No, of course not.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure.
I'm not afraid to say that. Who hasn't had a drink before?
Oh no, no one should be afraid. No, everyone listening to this podcast for sure is drinking before they were 21, guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like I was drinking and driving before 21. I just had a drink with my
Or
friends.
after 21, Griffin, or after 21. Let's make sure we say that too.
Or after, more specifically, yes. No, I've never gotten drunk and drove.
Nice. Well, that's good. That's a good thing to keep. To keep going into.
I already have too much anxiety when it comes to driving. Why would I increase my anxiety?
That's whatever works for you to not get behind the wheel after having some drinks. That's for sure. That goes for anybody at home too. You did mention your dad a little bit there with the family history and stuff. I wanted to speak more specifically on the pitfalls. We were talking a little bit about dynamics and pitfalls that can come across when becoming a touring musician and in a band. Were you ever deterred by your father by that, or at least warned of the dangers that can be out there?
100%. For instance, keeping my body, I want to say keeping my body in shape, but mainly keeping my vocals good when it came to doing music while touring, coming back to alcohol. Drinking alcohol is one of the worst things that you can do for your throat when you're on tour, which I 100% agree. I've mainly used it as like a painkiller for my back, just like because we have a rule in the band where it's like no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing. I mean, nicotine, that's fine, but nothing like that before a show, because we want to be in our tip-top shape and we want to be intoxicated performing in front of people. But alcohol will wear your throat down and make it very scratchy because it's alcohol. It's like it's one of the things that kills germs. So I don't think it's great for your throat.
Well, it also dehydrates you. So
100%.
Good. I mean, you guys stay really hydrated for your instrument right here in the throat, let alone cramping up on stage or anything like that. I know myself as a bass player. We learned that. I'm glad that you guys already started with this mantra of nothing before the show, because we had to learn the hard way. There was a few shows where we listened back and we're like, "Ooh, we're not at peak performance here right now." So we should probably figure this one out.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh yeah, like the only drugs that I take before a show is like antidepressants, and that's like earlier in the day when I wake up. I'm like, antidepressants, ADHD medication, let's do it. But yeah, no,
that's prescribed stuff that you need. That's not the same as like waking up and going to the bar at like 4:00 in the afternoon before a 7:00 show.
Oh no, like my drug before a show is coffee. Just like get caffeine into my body before I stab a motherfucker. But yeah, no. Another thing is like just being safe with the people that you're around, because obviously it's a live concert. There's going to be a crowd. There's a bunch of strangers and stuff like that. So you want to be careful with what people give you. People offering you stuff. Like I never, anytime I'm at the bar, which I'll always just be like, give me a Jack and Coke. And that's the only thing that I will ever get is just one Jack and Coke or maybe two. And then I'll go back into the backstage and just be on my fucking computer or whatnot. But I've had people come up to me and offer me drinks and I'm immediately just like, no, thank you. Because I have two rules. One is that like, I don't want people buying stuff for me. I would rather purchase it myself, because it's just kind of a feel good for myself to just purchase something. And also I don't know what the fuck you're going to give me. So I'm more just the like, it's mainly just being safe and just being aware of your surroundings and being and not being a quote unquote degenerate,
Yeah. Well, There is a way to be a degenerate and walk the line. I'm living proof of that. But on the pitfalls, though, like that, we're talking more touring right now. We'll get back to that. But how are you finding the music industry? Let's go into that. Like through releasing music. I know you guys are secretly, maybe whatever, in the works on something maybe coming later in 2024.
Secrets tell no one.
But and you got a new single out right now. So that's going good. Am I the Only One? Is the single out right now, which is great song. We'll get into that. But back to the industry real quick. How are you finding it working with labels, management, publicists, all that stuff? And how long has it been now for you? And are you feeling like you're getting a good grasp on what the landscape of the music industry is?
I'm still very lost. I will be 100% honest. I'm still very lost. I try my best to keep up with my band because a lot of my band members are a lot more insightful when it comes to all that stuff. But I'm not very smart, I want to say, when it comes to that kind of stuff. But I try my best to kind of follow along to the best of my degree. When it comes to like labels and stuff, we want to do our very, very best to be very independent, because financially and I guess financially and I guess a little bit morally, it would be adequate for us. It would be best for us, I guess. We want to do our best to kind of be like, hey, we made this. We had help from our friends, but we didn't have help from a corporation, like kind of stuff like that. We had help from people who genuinely cared about the art and genuinely cared about the time and effort that it takes to kind of do these things, rather than just put it out there, make money, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's been it's been really fun touring and stuff. It's always it's always very stressful. It really hurts to tour physically and mentally, but creating and doing all like the music and just writing in general, it's been absolutely beautiful. And I've had it's over the years I've gotten really better at writing and getting better at just kind of writing on my own.
Awesome. No, I mean, you brought up a couple of cool things right there. Definitely back to the touring aspect of it. As you said, it's mentally and physically grueling. It's not for everyone. So that goes back to what I said when I was asking the question about you and your bandmates, how it's all getting along. Because, again, it could be best of friends at home. Everything's going great. Get out on the road. You're mentally exhausted. You're physically exhausted. That's when shit could kind of hit the fan, and you find out who's really built for the road. Not everybody is, and there's no shame in it if you're not. Obviously, there's still other things to do. Obviously, even in music. On
top of that, sorry.
No, go ahead.
On top of that, I just saw. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this thing from The Weeknd that I don't know when this happened, but I guess the lead singer from The Weeknd had to during a show had to, I guess, cancel the show kind of midway because his voice was degrading and he was losing his voice. And the crowd fucking booed them off stage, which I was just like, what the fuck? Now I see it via two sides. One side is very much I paid for this. I expect to I paid for this. I want to see this, because I paid money for it.
I came here. I made room in my schedule, room in my bank account for this. This was
something that I was excited for. Yeah, right. Yeah. I 100% agree with the crowd when it came to being very disappointed in not being able to, I guess, see The Weeknd. But one thing that very hit home for me, that made me very sentimental towards him, was the fact that they were booing him. Like, touring, there have been times where I've almost had mental breaks while touring because I'm a ball of anxiety. My voice just degrades heavily. I fucking pop Advil like it's candy for my back, which is not something you should ever do.
No, and it says right there on the bottle, man, you got to be careful with that. It seems harmless, but it could really fuck up your kidneys if you're doing it regularly. 100%.
And actually, because of and that's also my fault because I keep forgetting to stretch before the show, which is just I'm an idiot.
Before and after.
But it actually, my lower back was actually getting so bad that my grandma actually had to take me to the doctor and get me prescribed onto ibuprofen and muscle relaxers for my back. Wow. And that's helped me a great deal. But I 100% feel for the lead singer for The Weeknd. I don't listen to The Weeknd, and that's not a personal.
It's him. The Weeknd is him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a birth name too. He uses for his acting career now. I'm a big Weeknd fan, but The Weeknd is him.
Okay. I didn't know. I have a very small kind of music taste, but that's no throwing shade at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
But absolutely,
you should listen to some of The Weeknd though. After this, it's good. It's good music.
I'll have to check them out 100%. But no, I like I was saying, I totally feel for him when it comes to like just not being able to like follow through with the show, because you want to put on your best for people. You want to show them love. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to show them the. You don't want to show the people that care about you the I guess the half-assed kind of broken down version of yourself, which I 100% sympathize with, and I feel for him, and I hope that I hope that he's doing all right, and I hope that he's taking care of himself.
Absolutely, and those pitfalls will happen throughout a career. That's not the first time that's happened to The Weeknd that I understand. I believe he's had a surgery before on his vocals. Don't quote me on that, everybody. You go fact check me and tell me that I'm wrong here on YouTube. That's fine. But at any rate, I do know that it happens for pretty much any vocalist that's a touring musician and does it. You could say like you don't want to put a half-assed performance out there, sure, but also there's times you just can't make a fucking noise with your instrument, which is your throat, and you can't do that. You can't perform, and you don't want to disappoint. Obviously, I'm sure. The reason why he was even out there for half of his set was because he was trying his very damnedest to put on a show for those reasons that we just talked about. He understands that it's you're one night out, you got a sitter, you got a family, you made time and effort and put your monetary bank account, for lack of a better term, out there, and this is your night out, and it sucks. Yeah. But just so if you're on the other side listening to this right now of being a performer, just know, I have not met anyone yet. Now, I'm not saying they're not out there, but I have not met anyone personally, and I've met a lot of musicians and entertainers out there that don't feel worse than you do out there, like not being able to perform. So, both emotions can live within the same world, right? I mean, you can be disappointed and understanding that shit happens.
There's no shame. There's no shame in not being able to I guess deliver. There's no shame in not being able to deliver. There are times where when it comes to my band, there have been times where we've had to just we have a rule in the band called sit in it, where it's like, if you're not having a good time, if you're not if there's stuff going on, you have to sit in it, because we have a job to do. But for artists like The Weeknd or any other people who have been doing this for longer and who have been just working themselves to the bone, I 100% sympathize with them, where it's just like, I can't, like, artists' mental health more specifically is very much underappreciated or not looked into as much. But yeah, and I 100% feel for the people who kind of put their mentality and their physical condition on the line for the sake of entertainment and for the sake of art. Absolutely,
and that's a very fair point. Now, getting to some of the shows and some touring, bringing it kind of full circle back in Omaha, this time going to be in Lincoln. You guys, Vended, are going to be opening up our show there with Poppy. Really excited to have you guys on the bill, man. When Vended was sent it over to me last week and I was going to put together this Discovery Hour, I got to be honest, I didn't even realize it was you in the band. And then I did my research. I was like, oh, I know Griffin. I met Griffin. Like, this is going to be fucking awesome. And then I was looking, I was like, oh, and yeah, Vended. I forgot. They're going to be with us in Lincoln, Nebraska on March 16th. Everyone, there are still tickets available if you're in the area, or if you feel like driving out. Go check out Vended, Poppy, and Avenged Sevenfold in Lincoln, Nebraska. You can find that on probably either one of our websites or our social media for more information on that. But back to it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the first time we met was in Omaha. Now we're back there. You guys are going to be opening up the show. What are you expecting, and what can the fans expect from the show?
I'm expecting for everyone to just have a great time and to stay warm. Jesus Christ, it's awful outside. And what I really hope that the crowd to expect is just a very heavy, very intense show with a lot of mental health issues. Just a lot of
on stage and off the stage. Is that what you're getting?
On stage and off stage, 100%. There is no off time. But no, I really hope that the only thing that I can pray for is that I hope that everybody just has a great time. I hope that everybody is with the people that they care about and the people that they love. And I hope that every band on the bill is able to put on the best show of their degree. And no matter what happens, everybody just has a good time. Peace and love, man.
Absolutely. That's a great little soliloquy there for the show, and everyone implore you to check it out if you have the time. It's gonna be great. Get there early for Vended. Are you guys gonna be playing the new single, or do you have the set yet that you guys are gonna be playing for that show?
We're gonna be performing the I guess the same set that we were touring when we were with Of Mice and Men and Bullet for My Valentine. Mm-hmm. No. I think it was the headline shows that we were doing. I could be wrong. But yes, we will be.
You got time to figure it out until March 16th.
We will be performing. Excuse me. We will be performing the new single. We will be performing old songs and some new stuff that I hope that everybody enjoys.
Ooh, I'll definitely be checking out some of the new stuff because, like we said, secrets. But we know 2024 is going to be a big one for Vended.
Oh yeah, I am very, very much excited both to see you guys at the show, and I'm very excited for what we have in store for everybody this year. I'm very, very happy with a lot of the progress that me and my brothers have made. I'm very happy with a lot of the. I want to say like mental growth or the kind of
maturity. Maybe are you looking for like the maturity that you guys are coming together with?
That's one. I was more that is one, but I was more thinking of the like the skill progress that I've made when it came to writing and when it came to getting down specifically what I wanted to get across. But I'm very, very happy with a lot of the work that we have done, and I really cannot wait to show it to the world.
Well, yeah, and I think before we were talking, getting excited about the interaction with the crowd, something that you were talking about before that you were really working on and stuff, and
yes,
making sure that you're creating eye contact with those out there, so that so that you're there with them. They know that you're there with them, and you're not just in your own space, and and that's a really important thing, I think, for artists to realize, is that, again, the audience it's their party night, it's their night off, it's their release, and you're all in one building together. Even though you're on the stage and they're in the crowd, it's a very unifying experience to be at a concert, right?
Yes. Like when you're at a concert, I learned this from my father. When you're at a concert, there is no your side and my side. There is we are a family. We are we are new friends, new faces. There is no discrimination. There is no hate. There is no violence. There's just energy. There is just love, hate, just emotions just flowing through the crowd, and it's a thing to bring everyone together.
Absolutely. And another thing that brings everyone together is musicals. Now, the people at home don't understand that because they're not going to hear the first chat probably unless I release it later. But but you did mention before that you take some inspiration from the musicals you watched as a kid growing up and stuff. And I didn't ask you at the time, but maybe you could be more specific on the musicals right here. And Was that an influence that your family bestowed upon you? Was that just like everyone around you was listening? I mean, again, I know a lot of people at home are going to be, wanting to know a little bit more about your dynamic with your father. Is Corey in the house playing Sound of Music to you? Is that what's happening?
No. Actually, a lot of the musicals that I got was from my mother. I think the one musical that I got from my dad was Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Okay.
But
That's
from
a little
my
more
mom,
on brand. That's a little bit more on brand. I get it.
Oh, 100%. If you knew the stories, good Lord. But one thing that I got from my mother and my sister and my grandma was Rent the musical. Absolutely, because I watched the movie and I got little tidbits from the actual performance on VHS. But I watched
VHS. Wow, throwback.
Oh
I like
yeah,
it.
no, I know how to work a fucking VHS.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed, Griffin. Not a lot of 21-year-olds even know what a VHS is, I think, these days.
Dude, I had one of those fucking well, because of like I guess family stuff and whatnot. I used to live with my grandma a lot when I was a kid. Mainly just because like my dad would be out of town, my mom would be working or busy with stuff, so I would live
Your
with
mom
my.
used to be out on tour quite a bit too when we were touring with Stone Sour back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, Scarlett, I love her. But when I was back to musicals. I would listen to Rent the musical, and that was what truly, because I was watching Rent the musical back when I was in fucking kindergarten, which is so like out of it's not appropriate. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It has a lot to do with AIDS, but either way, it's like AIDS, drug use, stuff like that. But either way, the music in it was truly inspiring to me. Like the song Rent, or my personal favorite, La Vie Boheme. Absolutely beautiful music. And as I got older and reintroduced myself to Rent the musical, the one song that really resonated with me was One Song Glory, which when like in the musical, I forget the character and the actor's name, but the person singing the song is about him trying to write that one song, both full of emotion and truly showing all of the love and backstory that he was trying to convey, trying to get that one song out before the virus takes hold of him. And as I got older, when I listened to the song, the one song Glory, what it meant to me was trying to write that one song to truly show who I truly am as an individual, before I either become irrelevant, become somebody that I don't want to be, stuff like that. Like trying to write that one song to truly make a difference, you know?
Dude, that's inspiring just hear you talk about it. But I will say you probably don't have to worry about being irrelevant anytime soon. You guys are just starting out this career, and then you guys got some great songs, great live performances that I've seen, and really looking forward to following your career. I do. At the top of this episode, for those listening at home, I spoke to Mike Evans from Profiler, who you guys are going to be taking out in Europe. I didn't realize you guys were all doing this whole thing when I'm setting up this episode to have you guys on it together. I didn't even realize it, but Mike mentioned he's going to be on tour with you guys. You guys have a tour coming up in Europe, right?
Yes. I am very, very much excited for that. It'll be our first ever tour in a bus, and we'll be sharing the bus with the people that we're touring with, which that'll be really interesting. Sorry, the coffee just kicked in. But yeah, the coffee just kicked in now. But no,
but I don't think you need the coffee, Griffin. Again, going back to seeing you backstage all those years as a kid, you're just a ball of energy. It's such a breath of fresh air to still see you the same way. Just energetic, man. It's great.
I do my very best. But no, I'm very, very excited to go out on tour in Europe again. The one thing that I will say is that Europe tours are very mentally straining on me, and for a lot of people in my band as well, because I mean, Europe tours are a bigger beast than US tours when it comes to like places that you can go to, I guess like money exchange, or like just being able to pay for something, stuff like that. It's like it's a lot harder than just doing US tours, but it makes it all the worthwhile because you get to see the people who rarely ever get to see you, you know? And I'm very excited and looking forward to the Europe tour. And I like meeting new bands. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, you got a good one coming out with you guys in Profiler. Their new record is fucking awesome. It's coming out in February also, so it'll be out right before you guys go on tour there. Mike's a great guy too. Got to meet him on this episode, so very cool. Everyone go check out the dates for that if you're in the European area. I'm glad you brought up Europe, man, especially in those early days. It's definitely tough, man. You know, a lot of the amenities that we're used to out here are not readily available out there, so I feel you on that, man. Last couple things actually here. I wanted to ask if you guys were going to be playing what's my personal Vended favorite song is Asylum. You guys take that one out on most of your sets?
Yes, we do take Asylum out on most of our sets. It is actually, I believe, the last song that we perform, and we take a lot of the songs that we had on the EP out. Some songs that I would prefer not to perform. But that's
okay.
It's that whole you're your own worst critic, and also I'm not 16 anymore. So I mean, but
oh, just wait, Griffin, till you're not 21 anymore, and you're like, I still gotta play that song.
I can't wait for it. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm very no, we bring Burn My Misery, Bloodline My Wrongs, and Asylum, yeah. Right. But we have like I said, we have a lot of new songs that we're bringing out. Not a lot, not too many, but a good amount to kind of tease, kind of edge the audience, you know.
I love it, and I can't wait to see it. I'm going to definitely be checking you guys out in Lincoln, Nebraska when we're out there together, man. Again, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the double time and doing this redo with me. You know,
no, of course.
Just so you know, next time as you're doing more and more of this press via Zoom, just let the guy know, just in case that I can't see you, just in case you want to know. So
yeah, I should have brought that up. That was my bad.
No. I'm just trying to defer my own deficiency there. So. But anyways, man, everyone go check out more of Vended. Follow him on all social media. Go listen to him on all streaming platforms. Follow him there as well. YouTube, I'm sure, everything. Go follow Griffin Taylor on his own personal stuff as well.
Jukebox Bean 02.
Jukebox Bean 02. I just started following this morning, so we're all good now. But yeah, thanks again for the time, and I'll see you out in Nebraska. Maybe we can maybe we can have a couple of Jack and Cokes afterward. Just to chop it up a little bit, see how the show went, see how you're feeling, get you guys ready for that European tour you got coming up, and let's leave the listeners at home, at least the listeners, with a song. Do you want to go with the new single?
Yes, I would like to go with the new single. Am I the Only One?
All right, and you want to give a little description about this one for them for what they should be expecting if they haven't heard it yet?
I actually would. Am I the Only One is very much a song about being afraid of letting the people that not only you look up to, but those that look up to you down. It is very much a personal song for me about just worrying about my own sanity and worrying about the way that I portray myself or the way that I show myself towards others, and not wanting to let those that put a lot of their faith and a lot of their time into me. And it makes me it's very much a love song towards wanting to be better, and to not only for those people but for myself, and to being able to admit, am I the only one who has the guts to say he's wrong? You know?
Beautiful message. Great song. Everyone, go check out more from Vended. I'm going to be following your career very closely now, Griffin. Thank you so much for putting out this music, and all the great wishes and hopes to you and your brothers in arms out there. And again, looking forward to see you on March 16th. Here it is. Am I the only one to leave you guys on this first ever Drinks with Johnny Discovery Hour? Hope we can do many more of these for you guys. And again, thanks to everybody from Profiler to Vended, Belushi Speed Ball. I got some others coming on later for another episode. So again, thanks Griffin. Everyone at home, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Here it is again. Am I the Only One by Vended. Cheers.
Thank you so much for having me.